Hello, everyone, and welcome to the cognitive skills presentation for kindergarten prep. My name is Sandy Anderson, early literacy coordinator for the St. Louis County Library. Pre-kindergarten and kindergarten are periods of tremendous cognitive growth. Children this age are undergoing a large amount of change very quickly and are learning to see the world in many new and interesting ways. I'd like to use our time together to go over some cognitive skills kids need to learn in order to be successful throughout their schooling and later in life. So here I've listed examples of some general cognitive skills, and I'm going to briefly talk about each one. Questioning. I'm sure all of you have had your little preschooler ask you why over and over again. Well, children ask the why to determine causes, and they ask other questions to solve problems and clarify their understanding. I know it's a little annoying, but it's actually a really, really great skill to have, and it shows that they're eager to learn. Spatial relationships. So, exploring the spatial and physical aspects of the environment. So, an example of that would be when a child places a toy into a container, dumps it out, and then fills up the container again with the toy. Problem solving. When children experiment, investigate, and work together with other children or even adults to problem solve. There's oftentimes a lot of questions that go along with this as well, and that's for children to really understand what's happening next when they're working on that problem solving. Number skills and classification. So, a child's understanding of number concepts, more and less, and number relationships. They really begin in preschool to understand quantities, recognize relationships, and understand the order of numbers. And we're talking about not just rote counting at this age, but also one to one correspondence counting as well. So both should be worked on in the preschool years. A child's ability to categorize, sort, group, and connect objects as well should be worked on. And this can be as simple as sorting socks and the laundry that go together. And we should also be working on recognizing some basic shapes at this age. Symbolic play. During play, children will use objects, ideas, and actions to stand for other things. For example, they may hold a toy phone and hold it up to their ear to talk, or they may rock a baby doll back and forth to do some symbolic play. Language and literacy, that's a big one. So, at the preschool age, your preschooler should be speaking in short sentences, 5 to 6 words long, and they should be speaking them clearly enough to be understood most of the time and not just by family members or caregivers, those that are familiar with them, but also individuals that may be strangers or not familiar with them. The ability to retell a simple story in sequential order is great at this age too. So the beginning, the middle, and the end of the simple story. A child in preschool should also be able to write some letters, typically starting with the letters in their first and last name. And they're oftentimes very motivated by that because they are excited about their first and last name. Following directions, another big one. Boy, a typical day at preschool and kindergarten are just full of multi step directions. And the number of steps will only increase as your child grows and progresses. In kindergarten, most directions will come in a series of 2 or 3 steps, and your child will need to be able to understand and follow these directions without too much confusion and without constantly asking for the direction to be repeated. When we look at classroom management for the classroom teacher, they really need most of the children in the room to be able to follow those classroom directions. So, following directions is a really great skill to be working on. So, how can you work on these things at home? Ways to promote those cognitive development skills. A great one is to practice those ABCs, practice the alphabet. So, sing that ABC song, sing it fast, sing it slow, sing it loud, sing it soft, sing it whenever you can. Reading books about the alphabet also will help your child to identify letters and identify letters out in the environment. That's called environmental print, especially if you see any of the letters in your child's name, because again, they're highly motivated and excited about the letters in their name. Practicing those number skills, providing opportunities for children to practice counting by counting the numbers of different objects in their natural environment. During snack time, count out how many goldfish crackers you're giving them and have your child count them as well, or have them eat a few and have them count how many they have left. When you're looking at practicing those letters and those numbers, get them objects like magnetic letters and numbers to play with so they have a tangible object to kind of reinforce that those numbers and letter skills. Practice those colors and shapes. Identify all the colors and shapes that you see in your child's natural environment. Um, when your child says things to you, simple words like truck or tree, expand on that by saying, "Oh, I see the blue truck or the green leaves in the tree." Or look at the tall building that's shaped like a rectangle. Or when you're sorting the laundry, have your child help you and ask them to hand you a blue shirt or the yellow towel. This is not only a color recognition activity, but it's also a sorting activity. And again, you're using your child's natural environment to teach these great skills. Allow your child to help with household tasks. For example, have them help you prepare meals. When it's time to prepare food for lunch or dinner, use cookie cutters to cut food into different shapes and ask your child what the shapes are. Again, ask your child to count out their snacks. So maybe they can count 10 carrots and put them in a bowl for you. And talk with your child while you're doing these tasks. And that really helps them to work on their language skills. And it's simply a great way to spend time together. Remember safety first when cooking in the kitchen with your little one, and always make sure to never leave your child alone during cooking tasks. Some more ways to promote cognitive development. Those conversation skills are really important at this age. Children who are able to effectively communicate what they're feeling, what they need, it's all really important because it will help them manage their personal relationships. And this will also help the adults in their life more easily address your child's concerns. So when they're away from home and they're at school, if they can effectively have some good conversation skills, the children in their lives will be able to help them better. For this reason, it's more important, even more important, to teach your kids conversation skills as early as possible. And there's several ways that this can be done. Asking open-ended questions. For example, if your child draws something and they come to show it to you, ask them to describe it by saying something like, "Oh, tell me about this tall object you drew." Or when you're working together on something, say things like, "What do you think we should do next?" Try to avoid using yes or no questions because that can end the conversation pretty quickly. So, these are ways that can help your children open up and conversate, even if they initially feel shy. Remember, when you're having conversations with your children, make eye contact and model good conversation skills with them. Show them how to express their feelings or ask questions by setting examples for children. That can be the most direct and easiest way to show them how to communicate with one another and with adults as well. Reading aloud, that's a great one. Reading aloud really has clear cognitive benefits. Hearing stories strengthens the part of the brain that's associated with visual imagery, story comprehension, and word meaning. And spending time together while reading aloud helps to create a strong parent child bond. We know that children that are read to more often have improved language and listening skills and experience stronger emotional connections to their loved ones. They also gain lifelong love of reading, which is just fantastic. Try to read daily if you can to your child, but if your child's unable to sit for long periods of time, just read a few pages of the book and come back to it and try to finish it later. I always recommend to parents to capitalize on bath time. You're already in the bathroom keeping an eye on them while they're taking a bath, so why not bring a book in there and sit down and read to them? The last one is multi-step directions. Again, there's so many directions at big schools, so really work on those multi-step directions. When giving your child a direction, try to be direct. So don't present the direction as a question. The teacher is not going to present it as a question. She's going to present it as a direction. Be in close proximity when giving out the direction. Don't call out from across the room or worse, yell at them from across the house. Again, make sure your direction is age appropriate and allow your child time to process the direction or the information you've given them. It can take a child up to 5 seconds to understand what you've asked them. So, repeating yourself multiple times or nagging them can cause unnecessary anxiety and stress. So, being able to complete the multi step directions is another kind of skill that kids will need well into adulthood. And sometimes it can mean the difference between physical safety and getting hurt. So, for this reason, it's important to ingrain within kids the ability to follow multi step directions in order to get a task done. So, I want to thank all of you for joining me today for this presentation on cognitive skills for kindergarten prep. If you have any questions or are looking for more information, please contact our Youth Services Department or check out our kids page on our website.